Right, folks, just for the heck of it, we're going to put an i5 9600K in there. Hopefully you can read that. I know it's upside down. We're going to put it in here, and I am not sure whether this will actually work in here because, you know, this is a computer that's got a 400 watt power supply. It does come with a graphics card. So concern would be that it just doesn't have enough power, right? The i5 9600K uses a little more power. Now, possibly if it's not overclocked, which I've seen from my monitoring MSI Afterburner, there's a good chance that it will not exceed the 60 watts or so that the i5 9400F had in here, so we may be good. Now, obviously, I'm not going to try and overclock this, and I don't believe there's any software on this computer that would allow me to overclock it. But still, an i5 9600, you know, without considering the K aspect of it, will outperform an i5 9400F. So this should provide a boost. Maybe not as good as an i7 9700, i7 9700F, but it will be an improvement. All right, so we've got a dab of thermal paste on there. We have the CPU cooler back in there. Now, if you do this, don't forget to plug it back in. So we've lined these up, and now I've got to screw all these in. So you want to not do one all the way through. You want to make sure that you do these basically rotate around, get some threads in on each one, and then tighten them all the way down. So I have at times changed out the RAM or added RAM to this to have between 8 and 16. I have upgraded the solid state. Minor improvement there with that. I should have went with something even better. Yeah, I'm actually using the processor that was in this in a different computer, doing some benchmarking and other things on that with different graphics card. Alright, so RAM's back in there. Make sure that this snaps in, and you don't want to have one of those that's not snapped in. So I'm going to put the graphics card back in here. If you saw the teardown video I did, that's why this thing is completely, maybe not completely disassembled, but disassembled from the point that I have to do all this extra stuff. Alright, graphics card is back in here, and now we have to do a couple more things to get that actually to seat right, and then I'll close it up and we'll do some initial benches on it. Alright, so all back together again. Knock on wood that we didn't screw something up, but all should be good. Alright, so it fired up, which is a good sign. So normally I would switch over to a screen recorder, but we're going to run a benchmark, and I don't want that to screw this up. So a few of the games we have on here that we'll try out at different times. I've got Fortnite. Everybody loves Fortnite. We've got Outer Worlds, CSGO, and I'm not sure what PlanetSide 2 is. Good chance I will put some other games on here just so we can get a better idea of what this thing can do. Alright, so I'm going to use user benchmark, and we'll get an overall score of this. Hopefully the old scores are on here. If not, I'll have a link down below to the original benchmarks that I did. Alright, so it is chugging along here. Alright, so benchmark, first attempt, 19% CPU usage, so we're going to have to do this again, folks. But 74% gaming. Now, I don't remember what it was before, sadly. It doesn't look like the old i5 9600K is running so hot these numbers should be, I think, closer to 138 for single core score. So we're gonna have to run this again. The 1660 Ti is running about as expected, and then this is definitely an improvement here over what comes with this computer. And then the RAM is performing pretty decently as well. Let's do it again. Well, getting closer to having good benchmarks. Still CPU usage 11%, so we're not there yet. All right, folks, finally got a good benchmark. 0% there. Oh, that's a little out of focus. 0%. So gaming score 76%, desktop 103, workstation 70, and our CPU not performing so hot. So that kind of tell you a couple things. This CPU really is not meant for this computer. Might be having some issues keeping it cool. That is always a negative of. So some of the issues may be related to not being able to keep this thing cool with the stock HP fan that's in here, and you know, that single core score is not as high as it should be. And you see the graphics card is doing pretty decent, as well as the SSD. So those two things have kind of bailed this out from being really bad bench overall. We did get greens all across the board. One thing I want to check out is comparative computers. So you saw the gaming score was 76, 103, and 70. Okay, hopefully I can remember that when we go in here. So somehow somebody got an RTX 2070 in here. It must have been a 2070 Mini. But in this guy, most likely his is scoring out so good because, well, actually I'm not sure. His SSD score is not really that great. But yeah, overall this looks, you know, no better than what most people have. Some of the 9700s is performing graphics-wise better. Actually, overall, the scores are better than that guy that had a 9700. But yeah, I think par for the course is somewhere in the 70s, probably 74, I think. So we made a slight improvement, I believe, with the upgrades. Some of these are probably basically a base model. Nobody did any upgrades to it, and so you see it low 70s. And yeah, you know, if I had a i5 9600, which I've seen those in the benchmarks. I've never seen one for sale though. Or the i5 9400, I probably would have got slightly better score since the CPU is doing so bad. I'm gonna keep running this, and hopefully we'll do a little better after maybe some updates and things, because this computer hasn't been running a while, and you can see it does have a need to do some updates. So hey, thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.